Want to know what a real man would tell their lady about love and life? You're in the right place. This is Hello Ladies with Rom Wills. Rom Wills is a speaker and author of several books on relationships. Grab some wine, sit back, and enjoy.
Welcome to the Sunday morning simulcast with Rom Wills. Admit to your mistakes. Now, you know what? One thing out here that we have a whole lot of people, either very loudly or to themselves, have a great need to be right. Even to the point, even they could be in a burning house and they need to be right. Like, oh, this house will never be burned. They'll sit there and burn with it. And we see them all the time. We see that someone is flawed in their thinking or their actions, usually more like their actions. Or they'll make a mistake, a blatant mistake, or they'll do something that causes a big problem, but they will never acknowledge it. They will never acknowledge it. It's always the other person's fault. It's blame the other person, you know. It could be in relationships. It could be on a job. You know, something go wrong on a job. They'll say, oh, this person did this or that. I've actually had that on jobs. Somebody else mess up and they'll say, well, Rom did this. It was like, hold up, stop. Yeah, Rom had to get on some people on some jobs. Or you see it in relationships. Well, the other person did this, that. They did all this stuff and I didn't do anything wrong. I've actually had that said to me a couple times. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. It's all on you. Like, women look me in the eye and say that, right? But see, here's the problem with that. Here's the problem. When people do that, they actually hurt themselves. Because what happens is, and they need to be right, and, you know, everything around them is saying that they're wrong. They don't correct the behavior, so they keep going, right? It's like the person who believes that they have bad relationships because the opposite sex is so bad. And that's very common. It was like, well, I'm alone because, you know, these women won't like me. Or I'm alone because these men out here are no good. And they'll keep doing it. You know, instead of just saying, you know what, maybe I did something. You know? Maybe I need to do something, or maybe in this instance I did something wrong. Because I'm going to tell you why. Admitting to the mistake isn't for the other person. And it isn't about you just saying they right, because some people just don't want to say someone else is right. Right? Admitting to the mistake empowers you. For one simple reason, you can correct it. For example, using the relationship example again. Like I said, we see it all over the place, all over social media, and even before social media, we see it in the community, right? You got people saying, well, I'm having these problems because all these people are bad, they're so bad. But here's the problem. Here's the thing. If you admit that maybe it's you, that maybe you're doing something wrong, and accept it, then you can change it. And then you can change your perspective, because then once you recognize the mistake, admit to it, then you can change it. And then all of a sudden you'll see big changes. All of a sudden that woman who said all these men out here are no good, when she said, well, maybe it's something I'm doing. Maybe it's what I'm projecting. Maybe it's what's coming back through the mirror. I changed this. All of a sudden she'll find there's plenty of men out there who are good. Same thing with men. You got men out here talking about, oh, these women bad, all that. But if they change something within them, they'll find, hey, these women are cool. Right? But you got to do it yourself. See, a big problem in the world. People, when they want to change something, they look outside themselves. You know? They look outside themselves and they want to feel like I know what's best and I know what's going on, but all these other people are off step. And it's funny because these people say that, but then it doesn't reflect in their lives. You know? It's like, and like I say, you see it all the time. I've seen it on jobs, everything, you know, and everybody around them see it, but everybody else is wrong. And like I said, it's about empowerment. Understand something. There's only, like, people go out their way to impose their views on other people, to try to control what other people think, to try to influence it. But at the end of the day, you can only control yourself. Think about it. You know, if you want to change your behavior, you have 100% control over it. Like some people, they'll do some stuff and they'll say, "Oh, this is just me" or something. It's like, no, if it's a behavior, unless it's just some physical thing way beyond your control, you can change it. You can change your reaction. You can change it, and in many cases, if you change your behavior, you can even change the physical thing. You know, I'll give you an example. People being sad all the time or even depressed, right? But, you know, instead of like looking at how their actions might have contributed to it, they look at everybody else like, "Oh, these people just treat me bad," and all of that. But you can change that. And so unless that depression is caused by something chemical within you, and even then, there are medicines out there that can deal with a lot of chemical imbalances or something. But unless it's just something that you can't change by either attitude or by medical intervention, you have a choice over it. You have a choice. And, you know, and that's getting into some deeper stuff. Let me bring it back around to the mistakes, because we all make them. We all make bad judgments. Every single person. I don't care how successful they are, there's going to be a bad judgment. You know, even millionaires and billionaires, all of them can point to some failure or some mistake they made, some bad judgment they made. One of the things in that, admitting to your mistakes, is just taking responsibility for it. You take responsibility. Just say, "Okay, you know what? This is what I've been doing." Right? Then once you see that, then it's like, all right, I can change it. I'm empowered now. And then you grow from it. That's the key. And I've never seen that to fail. When people have taken some responsibility for their mistakes, for their actions, I have yet in my life to see them fail to grow. I've never seen anybody who actually did that. Right? I've never, seriously. And when I say it, not just on a superficial thing, but on a deep level, they just say, "You know what? I did this. I created this situation." Right? This is what I did wrong. Let me correct it. And you'd be surprised, shoot, even though relationships can come back together, you know, if people admit that. Because then what happens is, once you change within yourself, the people around you, they're going to change in reaction to you. That's powerful. That is powerful. You know, if you like that person that no one likes to be around, you know, obnoxious and whatever. If you were to just sit back and just say, "You know what? I'm going to change how I'm carrying things." Now, they're going to look at you funny at first. They're going to be like, "What's up with them?" But once they get used to it, you're going to find out they, you know, everybody else is going to change in their reaction to you. You know? So that's empowerment. It always comes to it. But one of the biggest things is admitting that you messed up. Admitting it, because then you can effectively fix it. And I'm, you know, honestly, I'm not just telling y'all this. Like I said, this stuff is for me. When I do these podcasts, they're for me as much as they are for everybody else. Because I look back and I'll just say, "Oh, you know what? I could have did something different. Or this type of behavior is different." And I constantly do subtle shifts. People don't realize, even now, I do subtle shifts. And it's like, all right, I got to deal with something. How do I deal with it? All right, let me first admit that the way I dealt with it at first, this type of situation, was incorrect. All right, so let me change how I deal with it. You know? I mean, seriously, I'm always making little course corrections or something, or just saying, "You know what? That was a mistake." That was a mistake. So it's like, okay, boom, I feel more empowered. Now I can move on. I can do something different. And it always works out. Always. It never fails. Because then that's when you have real power. You know, that's when you have it. And when you admit to a mistake, you don't have to announce it to the world. That's the beauty of it. You don't have, unless you harm somebody with a mistake. Now, if you harm somebody, like directly harm somebody with your mistake or cause them to be in a certain mood or something, you do need to go up to them and apologize and just say, hey, you know what? And partly that's for them, but partly it's for you because you're carrying that around. But in many cases, you don't even have to admit to your mistake. If it didn't hurt anybody other than yourself, just admit to yourself, look in the mirror and just say, you know what, I messed up. And then go from there. So, anyway, that's it for now. Y'all have a great Sunday. Keep rising and transforming. Peace.